Welcome into this meeting and this class. It's so fun to get started. It's a new project today that I will work on, and you will follow along and see what you could do in your works. And later on, we will get to questions and if you have specific issues with what you work on. And, this is an open class, and you can join in regardless of where you are in the process. I will work with a specific part in this. I will talk about a specific part of the process for the most part, but later on you'll be you get a chance to ask some questions and to get some help with where you're at with your work. So today I am looking to start a new painting. That's what we're going to talk about. I'm about to paint something that it's going to be a reproducing work here. It's not going to be a portrait. It's not going to be my own idea. This is something that I'm doing for someone, actually. So this is a painting by a Swedish master. He's probably the most well-known Swedish painter of all time, I would guess. He's right up there anyway. It's Anders Zorn, and the work that I'm looking to take on is one of his most famous works as well. It really has, I think this is an image that really represents the Swedish Midsummer, and it's called the Midsummer Dance. So let's look at it. Maybe I'll give you all of it here. I just searched for his. This is in Swedish. Anders Zorn Midsummer Dance. That's in Swedish name, and as you can see, there are a lot of photos of this painting, and it's quite well known. You've probably seen it. If you're Swedish, you've definitely seen it. It's he was a great artist during the 19th century and beginning of the 20th century as well, and he knew how to handle colors so masterfully. Let's look at some of them here. This is what let's look at something else to begin with. Let's look at this little thing here. This is a Swedish kulla. That's what we call these women from Dalarna. They have a specific name, these women. The women are called kullor, and the men are called masar. That's the name of the men and women in Dalarna. This is a part of Sweden where Anders Zorn worked and lived. So let's just look at this one of these paintings here, just to exemplify how he does his work. It's quite a impressive painter. He leaves a lot of areas on the canvas very raw. You see back here in the background, it's almost, you can, if you zoom in, it's just colors. You see, doesn't look that great when you come close to this part. Here it's better, it's more details, but because he really works with the difference with focus, he knows where to put his focus on in the image. So this, of course, this girl here will be in focus, and there are more prominent details in that part of the painting than in the background on this logged wall. So he leaves these backgrounds quite raw, and it's almost like it's taken with a camera. It's a photo shoot, because like you see the background is all dimmed, so it's really sharp. The focus is just very narrow, and of course there were cameras at his time, and maybe he took some inspiration from how cameras work, but I believe that's how the human eye works as well, because the eye will focus on one spot and leave the rest kind of blurry, and that creates some kind of focus. And I think I'm not a real art historian, but from what I can tell, this wasn't that common before the 19th century to have this kind of blurriness in the background, and it's probably because of the invention of the camera that they got some inspiration, and it affected how people were painting paintings as well. I would guess. I'm not sure. Don't quote me on it, but it's I think it might be something to that. And another thing that is very interesting with him is that he has a palette named after him, the Zorn palette, because he only uses 4 colors. I use 5 colors, and I use. Let's leave that aside. Let's look at his. He only used 4, and those 4 are ivory black. He used vermilion, and he used yellow ochre, and he used white, titanium white, I think. I'm not sure really. Let's see. I'm gonna try to work with these colors as well. I'm gonna try to work with the Zorn palette, and I have never done that, so it's gonna be an interesting challenge. The obvious question for someone who's new to this is, why isn't it a blue color in there? You can't create all colors with these these 4 colors. The blue is lacking, and what I believe he did was to use the black and white to create the blue tones, and they didn't become that prominent, but it was enough in contrast to the other colors to work as blue. And I'm not sure either if how strict he was with keeping to these 4 colors, but it's a famous. You can look at his self-portrait here. There's a self-portrait that shows this palette portrait. Let's see. So there you can see these 4 colors here. Here they are. So that's probably what he used in this painting, you would guess. But let's get back to the painting that I'm looking at. I'm looking to paint the Midsummer Dance. Let's see, the Midsummer Dance. Let's see. But we can actually take this one here. There is the most of this painting will be quite easy to handle. There's not that much blue in it, and I think I will pass. I will manage to do this without the blue color. It's interesting with the green how if the black will be enough to get that greenish color. I'm not sure. I'm new to it as well, but it's supposed to work. So let's see. Otherwise, I'll have to bring in some ultramarine blue or so. But look closely on this painting. Look closely here. Let's see if we can zoom in here on her clothing. Look at here. It's purpley blue color here. And my suspicion is that will be difficult to do without the blue color. To me, it looks really blue. And we'll see. Maybe it's enough with these colors that we have on the palette to create that nuance of blue, because your eyes are constantly fooling you. It's a blue color can easily be gray, but in comparison to the surrounding colors, it will appear to be blue. So this will be interesting to see. This will be some kind of test for me to see if I to see what I can do with these 4 colors, and to see how bluish of a nuance you can get, and how much of the green you can get, and how much of that blue color in the clothing that you can get. It will be interesting, and if I'm not able to create this whole painting with these 4 colors, I will of course bring in some real blue color. We'll see. Anyway, let's look at what I'm about to do here. I'm having this painting now. I have this original to paint from, but I will have to measure it, because I have a canvas as well, and I have to make sure to measure them approximately right. And I have this canvas here, and it looks very, it doesn't look that good, does it? It's all shifting colors on it. And the reason for that is that I had an old painting on it. I painted myself as Saint Sebastian a couple of years ago, and well, I wasn't satisfied. One day I will paint myself as Saint Sebastian, and it will be okay to show. But this one wasn't good, so I painted it over. And what I usually do when I have painted on something, then I have, if I'm not going to paint the day after, then I bring all these colors together. I do that. If I paint tomorrow, I bring them all together as well. I just mush them together, and then I get kind of a grayish, greenish, reddish, depending on what colors I still have on the palette. Those colors I mix in and put and save for the next day, because if I keep them together, the paint will last a little bit longer. It will slowly dry out, but over a day it's okay. But if I'm not going to paint the next day, I will probably take that paint and just make some preparing painting on another canvas that I want to paint over. And in this case, I've done that several times. That's why it looks so crappy. But if that's enough, but I think that's enough anyway. I'm gonna use it. If the measurements are right, so I'll have to check the measurements, and that's what I'm gonna do now, because I want the measurements to be approximately the same as in this original painting. And let's look at the original painting. I go to the Wikipedia page. This is the Swedish version. Let's do the English so you can read if you like. Midsummer Dance here, and the size here is 140 centimeters to 98, or 55 inches to 39. I'm from Anders Zorn native country, Sweden, so we measure it in centimeters. And what I do is to check that 140 to 98. That was the measurement, 140 to 98. And I will not be able to do that's not as big. It's not half the size, but almost. So what I've got here, let's make it a little bigger so you can see it here. These are the measurements. Let's see, can you see it? I think you can. So these are the measurements, 98 to 140. These are just, I don't know. I make some So I'm counting here to make these reproductions as precise as possible. And in this case, this number is interesting. 1.429. So now we'll see what my canvas, the size of my canvas, and the important thing is that the ratio here is approximately the same. So let's see. I have 70 centimeters to 90 centimeters, and that's not as big as it should be. So that's why I've got this one. Of course, it helps me to see how many centimeters I fail here, and yeah, that's not good. It's 7 centimeters. It's a bit too much, I think. Maybe we can cut that off in the bottom. Let's see. Let's look at this. Yeah, we could do it in the bottom here, and it wouldn't hurt too much. I don't want to cut that one. I don't want to do that. But this may be possible. Let's look at this other thing here, the visual, and let's see how that works. Let's see. I have to go back to 100% here to get this accurately. Oh, no. I'm gonna do this in millimeters. That's why it's so small. 100 for, yeah. So that's it. Here we are. Yeah, that's right. It's not in the bottom. It's not in the bottom, and then I will know what to do. I don't want to cut the side of it. Of course not. I can't do that. I can't cut off here. It wouldn't be good. But I could add a little bit in the bottom and in the top. That would be easy to do. It's just the same. I think I can do that. So that's a good idea. I will do that, and maybe especially in the bottom, because you know what I'm gonna do. When you measure these things, when I make the measurements for this image on my canvas, and when I start to let's have it on the side here so I can paint a little bit, point a little bit. But you know, if you see when I sketch it up on the canvas, I want to make sure to get the measurements right here, and this will be a little bit disturbing that I can't use this spot right here, because it's a good spot. It's a good spot where I know exactly where it is on the canvas. I can measure it and find this exact spot. It will be handled. I can handle it anyway, but I just have to think about it to not make a mistake. If I add some more centimeters on top here, and on the bottom, I can also add a little bit, and I think I will do that. This will bring them down in size, and that disturbs me a little bit, and that's mostly what I have to consider now if I am happy and pleased with the size that they're gonna get these faces in. And I can do something with this. What I can do is to, I don't know if you can, I will do something now. Let's see if I can bring you with me here. It's I'm switching the orientation of this painting here, and now you see all the bad things in back here. That's okay. So this is the standing image, and now I can, let's see, I'm gonna, oh, it's very difficult now. I've turned my screen and I have it on the side. It's a bit difficult to orient yourself there, but the reason I do this is to measure it a little bit, because now I can measure the size of it, and I can measure the heads, and then I can see how big they will be on my canvas. So in order to do that, I will measure not the size of the original painting, but on my screen. So I will measure my screen and see how big it is. It's, let's say, this will be rough. I don't have to be right on the millimeter. So 33.5 on the side here. Oh, this will be difficult to do on the side. Let's see. And you will see it on the... This will be difficult. 33.5, I think. That's it. And no, I can't do that. It's the wrong one here. No, that's not it. Let's see how much it was. 33.5. Yeah, that's right. And then we have the height. Let's look at that as well. And as you know, it's not going to be exactly this height because I have to change that, but let's work with this anyway. That's 46. It's 460 millimeters. 460 millimeters. Oh, this is so difficult. 460 millimeters. So that's a little bit closer. That's interesting. It's closer to my ratio. It's closer to my ratio. So that Wikipedia image doesn't have the same ratio as the original painting. That's interesting. I don't know why that is. If this is a reproduction I'm looking at, I don't know. Or if some of the measurements are incorrect. Anyway, now I've got the size difference approximately right. So now I'm going to check the converting table. I'm going to lean a little bit. You can't see that, but 1.96. So it's approximately half the size. This is approximately half the size. And I could count that as well. You know, if mine was 70 and this is almost 35, well, of course, it's going to be almost about half the size. And I'm a little bit concerned about this because his face here is, look at his head here, how big the biggest head here is. If you count the hat, you will get a 10 centimeter head, and that's too small. That's too small to create it's too small to create a good, a good portrait of it. So it won't be a good portrait. And I will have to be, well, I'm gonna have to think about it if this is okay, or if I have to get a bigger canvas to paint this one, because I don't want to paint too small faces, because there are faces in the back, they will be smaller, so that's maybe okay anyway. but if you want to get the likeliness, it's better to get a little bit bigger. And in the original, those faces will be, well, 15 centimeters or so, and then it starts to get easier to paint it. Well, let's look at this girl back here and those persons in the back here to the left. Look at these here. These persons back here. They're only about 2 or 3 centimeters, 2.5 maybe. So it'll be 5 centimeters face. It's very small. If you want to make, because I want this direct feeling, you know, he has a quite broad brushstrokes, and you get a feeling that he's not too concerned about the details. The details like feels like they're all there, and especially when you stand a little bit far away from it. And if you come closer, it looks just a little bit blurry. So he's a master of just getting those details while having this quite fast feel of the brushstrokes. So I will have to work a little bit to get that. And I'm concerned about it. I'm not sure if I'm gonna do this size. So anyway, that was my kind of start of evaluating the idea of painting this painting. And I think that I have to think about it a little bit more because it's a bit difficult. And if you don't have any questions about this, I will. Let's do like this. We'll take all the questions afterwards in the other session, and I will leave this for now. This introduction to my work with the Zorn painting, and let's look at your work and where you're at and what questions you have. And as well, I want to thank everyone who just watched this video. And if you're interested in getting on with your painting and try to paint portraits or paint a photo from your vacation, maybe some kind of nice occasion that you want to get up on the wall and give to your mother or your spouse or someone, then we have classes every week. We have open classes that you can just join in and check if you like it. And we also have courses that you can get started to help yourself create wonderful pieces of art, because it's not that it shouldn't be as difficult as I think a lot of people imagine it to be. It's just to do it. And I try to help anyone to do anything that they want to. And if you copy something else, then you have it a little bit easier to make the sketching and to get the colors on the right spot on the canvas, so to speak. Because if you have the sketching right, it's easier to paint afterwards, because then you can just then you don't have to think about where to put everything on the canvas, because you've got that already in the sketching, and you can focus on working with the values and the hues and the colors and how to create that fabric and the shininess of those fabrics, and the light that hits the side of his face, or those nice things. So if you get the sketching a bit right, like it's easier to work with the rest. So that's what I teach, and I will help you to do that with very few numbers of paint. We talked about 4 tubes of paint that I will use for this next painting, but I use 5 paints, so it's not that much, and you can create just about anything with that. So I'll leave the links under the video here, and I'll hope you'll join on the next class. And thank you for watching, and share and like and subscribe if you like it, and if you want to be notified when the next video comes. So thank you for watching, and the ones of you that are here and as part of this class, we will get on with it on the other side here. So bye bye now, YouTube, and let's get on with the questions.